guys all seen the movie?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Is it cool if I steal one of your guys' waters real quick?
Yes.
This is
Flat
for all
or
of us.
sparkling?
Oh, is it for all? Okay, cool.
Do you want sparkling?
I'll just get the still.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Can I just start off asking you about what got you into the project? What appealed to you about it? What did you feel when you read the script?
Oh, well, I felt, I mean, I thought the script was spectacular, and I thought all the characters were drawn so authentically. Very rare. And I thought it was funny and very, very moving. I was emotionally kind of devastated by it. And I mostly thought, what do I do to get into this movie? You know, James Brooks has been one of my idols my whole life. Every film he does or is associated with is extraordinary. And I met Kelly. I think I was the first actor that she met for the role. And she was lovely. And we talked about Mona. I talked about my empathy for Mona, how much I, you know, understood her and loved her. Just loved her, you know, 'cause she could be a really unlovable character, but I loved her and I totally empathized. Yeah, I just think it's a special movie and important to talk about what's happening, you know, how hard it is to be a teenager, what it's really like, because we all know it sucks. It absolutely sucks.
Great too. It just
Yeah, but it's really hard, especially hard to be a girl.
Yeah.
Blake, what was your process?
Well, I think Kyra can understand, like, as an actor, there's the scripts that you can't put down, and then there's the scripts that you kind of got to take a few shifts with, and this was a script that I could not put down, and I was so excited to audition for it. You know, I went into audition just with the casting director, then I met Kelly, and we had this, like, really cool workshop experience. Then the tape was sent along to Jim. I had the chemistry read with Haley, and then that was it. But no, the second I read, I just felt really, I felt like understood by every character in a weird way, but like my heart warmed up to Darian, and I was just so excited. I was just thinking, like, what do I got to do to get in this? I was like, this is a special one. This is a gem.
You know, I recognized my mother and my sister in this because they were exactly alike, and then they never got along.
Oh.
So I felt like Nadine was pretty much.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
You explained, you know, the relationship with Nadine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she is. I think that she had that lust for life that Mona had probably before I don't know, before she had kids probably. I think that she really, but I also, I mean, I think that Mona's deeply insecure and, you know, doesn't have any self-love. And I think that when you see that reflected back to you and your child, it's just devastating and terrifying. And also she doesn't give her any emotional support. I don't get any emotional support from my daughter, and I think that Mona is a mother that expects emotional support from her children, which is, you know, not fair, but often the case. And whereas Darian is the perfect parentified child and takes awfully good care of his mother, though he was only 3. Remember that E.E. Milne poem? A.A. Milne poem? James Morrison, Weatherby George Dupree. Anyway, sorry, flashback to my mother for a second. She always used to quote those poems to me. Anyway, but yes, I do. I think that her insecurity is just devastating for Mona, and I think that, and also she can't tame her. She can't clamp her down with her manipulation like she can with her son. And I don't. And again, you know, saying that she's manipulative sounds so derogatory, because I don't feel that way about her, but also I have to see as a parent myself what she's up to, you know, and as an actor that likes to see all the ins and outs of things, how she is a manipulator. I mean, she is, but she's also in a lot of pain.
Along that same line, Blake, I told Haley that I could relate to the story when my little sister started dating. We're like, whoa, what's going on? We're supposed to be posses till the end of it. It's like, so I was like, who's this jerk dating you now? So did you have that kind of? Have you ever experienced
Who's
that
this
way?
new guy? What do you got here?
With your siblings or your best friends, you know, feel like betrayal, kind of like, man, we're supposed to be friends, and like.
Yeah, man. I mean, I come from a family with 3 older brothers, so
Yeah.
needless to say, I was getting beat up like left and right growing up all the time. No, I think the way I associate like my family with like this piece, and like the main thing I went into it with was just like me and my brothers couldn't be any more different. And growing up, we got into each other's faces so much, and it's just because it was like you fear what you don't understand. And like two of my brothers were into like football. My other brother Ricky was just like a free spirit, dancing, clubbing, going out all the time, kind of, waking up like in a hungover kind of mood all this time. And I was just kind of the observer, and I was like a child, and I didn't really know like kind of where my place was to say anything or like voice my opinion. When you're a kid, you don't really know you have words until you like kind of go. For me, it was like going into a drama class. So it's like the moment you realize that you're all on an even keel is what I kind of went into this with. And like the moment that we're in the hallway like talking to each other, and like we finally embraced for the first time the whole movie. That's like what I was like, okay, matched, like leveled.
But how would you explain their relationship, Nadine?
Oh, between
Yes.
Nadine and Darian? Oh man, I think their relationship. I think they love each other for sure, and I think with the passing of their father, and then their mother kind of trying to figure things out, and maternal, like from the best place in her heart, kind of being manipulative, like you're saying. And my mom has done that before too. Like as a mother, you just want your kids with you.
Yeah.
Selfishly, you don't want the babies to flee the nest. So I think with us, there's just like this barrier between us. There's just like a bridge of communication that we haven't like crossed over. That we're too proud and too stubborn to cross over. And then finally, I feel like with because there's like so many different stories within this movie, and you're seeing it through her eyes, but like how she deals with each person in her life in a different way. So it's like what's beautiful is like kind of seeing each relationship kind of meeting each other halfway. So I feel like that's rings true to their relationship for me. Like throughout the whole time they're like inching toward each other, like thinking about it. They should like finally hug and shake hands and just see eye to eye.
One thing that struck me too about your character is you kind of there seems to be a battle over your heart, and it's from 2 very different places. There's the sibling love that you have, and then there's this love that you're learning to have for her best friend, and that must have been kind of complicated to play. And could you kind of talk about the dynamic of that? It's a very unique triangle in the movies, and I thought it was brilliantly played by you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, at least in my experience, I think he shows his love for Nadine through his frustration. Like both of them want each other, I think, secretly to like reach out, but they're too afraid. They don't want to get like put down because they put each other down so much. So I think it's like knowing that's there, knowing he loves her, and just thinking hopefully one day it's just going to work itself out without having to have any blow up. But then with Krista, it's so easy. And then obviously with the mom, I feel in debt to my mom. She brought me into this world, and I love her so much, and I worry about her, and I know that she's probably hurting the most. Like we lost our father, but she lost her rock. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of like and it's like low key kind of trying to be a therapist when you're not listening to yourself at the same time. And you kind of like hit that wall, and you kind of see him hit that wall. I think you see everybody kind of hit that wall and finally wake up, So.
Sort of playing off of that, you have this part of you that's hidden for so long in the movie, and it just it really struck me when you finally get your release. Can you talk a little bit about playing that, all right, speaking your truth, your character's truth? Because I just thought I was so moved by that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, just that. Yeah, I think. You think you got this guy figured out, I think. You think you got him figured out at the moment where you see him walking with his friends, muscle shirt, who's this douchebag? But you really don't know, he's just compartmentalized, all of his stuff. He's kind of turned off his feelers for the sake of his family. He's afraid to, flee the nest and go to, college, far away because he's so worried about them. So I think once he hits his wall, he's just kind of it's like how we time travel with our hearts sometimes. We, kind of, push something aside for so long. And then you go into therapy and you're like, oh my God, I'm 5 years old again. Yeah, my dad didn't hug me or something like that. And you're revisited by that emotion. So I think it's all of these years leading up to that. When finally he's just like, no, I have a right to speak my opinion. He's like, I'm not going to be your father. You're your substitute father anymore, Nadine. I'm going to be your equal. And I'm going to let you know that I've been hurting just as long as you. I've just been trying to hide it so that you could feel free to feel.
Can you maybe talk about Hayley? Because I think she's done an extraordinary performance here. And what she was like to work with, and what you think she brought to Nadine?
Well, I think she's extraordinary in the movie. I think the movie is, I think the part is also an extraordinarily written part. And I think that, you know, it's so great to find an actress and a part that just have that moment together. It's so rare, you know, actor meets part meets moment, you know, it's rare. She was extraordinary. She's very much in the moment. She really plays off of you. You really feel like you're, you know, very, you know, immediate and very much, you know, you're passing the ball and you're getting it back, you're getting something back. I just, it was easy, and it was, you know, when it's good, it's easy. You know, when it's good, it's effortless, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah. I mean, from the moment I had my chemistry read with her, man, I was like, oh man, this girl's coming to play. I was like, and this is the best feeling in the world. She's just approaches it with such warmth and such openness, and you just kind of feel like I felt like her brother in these scenes. Like I felt like we were brother and sister. Like it between takes and on set, like she did a great job at just, at least for me, making me feel so comfortable that I could just try anything out. And there's like little moments where like we would do these little brother things, or like we'd hug, and then I'd be like, ugh, or something like that, and we would both laugh because it was just like we felt like we were there. And it's because she kind of puts this spell on you, and she's like, oh man, like she's just so loving, and she loves acting. You could tell she loves people, and it's just that this whole, I think what I took away from this whole experience was just like, I've never been on a set where it's just such a family-oriented vibe.
Yeah.
And like everybody was just as into it as the next person. Like everybody cared. We all knew this was a passion project for all of us, and that we just all loved it throughout the whole thing. And she was number one on the call sheet, and she set that tone for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big responsibility.
Quick question: what is that thing that you blend and drink in that scene? That nasty vegetable kind of.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
It's kale, strawberries, bananas. I don't know. It's a protein shake. I was making a protein shake.
It is? Okay.
What's Kelly like as a filmmaker?
She's wonderful, man. She I mean, at least Kyra she could answer this question a million times better than I can. But at least from my experience, it's like she cared about this so much. You can tell that when she wrote this, this was her family. Like this, when I read this script, it was a diary. It didn't feel like I was reading a script. It felt like I was reading somebody's diary because it was so honest, and I felt through it the whole time. By the second I was done, I was like, holy crap. And that's exactly, like, that feel I got from that, reading that, was the person I met. That was the essence she brought to the set. And I never at once felt shy to ask anything, to throw an idea out there, to talk to her about something. And sometimes you'll feel like there's like a little degree of separation between the person that's directing you or kind of acting with you or something, and there was nothing like that. She did a beautiful job at setting the tone right before we even stepped on set. She told me, as I'm sure she told everybody else, she said, everything and everyone in this experience is here to serve you. She's like, so do not feel self-conscious, and do not be afraid to like throw out any ideas or ask questions, or just feel free to be.
Kyra?
Yeah.
Oh, she's incredible. I mean, she's just this. She's so powerful. I find her so powerful as a person, and she is so. She's done so much research about these characters. I mean, she knows everything about them, and yet she's completely open to your interpretation. And we did a lot of improvising, which was really exciting and fun. And she is so appropriate. That's going to sound really weird, but like just appropriate in every way. She just had these great boundaries as a person and as a filmmaker. I don't know. There's just sometimes people just like pour all their neuroses and shit out, and she was just so appropriate and just all about the work, and she knew exactly what she wanted, but then she would let you play and play and play and play and play. It's like you felt this like you knew when she said I got it that I've got it, and I so rarely feel that way. So often I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, I don't know, and then I just want to die, but she was very calming and so confident, as a first-time filmmaker and a woman. I mean, she was just such an inspiration for me, and you knew that she had I think on a cellular level had some James Brooks in her, in all the right ways, so that it was funny, it was poignant, it was just as dramatic as it is funny, which is just such a hard tone to find. And I felt like Mona was such a complicated tone to find, and I feel like she just but she also has great faith in her choices of actors and of what she's written, so that feels very grounding.
Kyra, I'm a huge fan of Deputy Chief Brenda. So after all these years, do you miss going back to the interrogation room, or are you feel
I
feel
don't.
comfortable with
I
doing
don't miss it at all. I loved every minute of it, and I left just in time to always love it and never miss it. So it was perfect. Yeah, yeah, it was amazing.
But you're talking about Haley in the perfect role.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You found that. You had that in your life too. So
Yes,
that's nice.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Blake, could you talk a little bit more about your character's relationship with Krista and how it was working with Haley Lou?
Oh man, Haley Lou, she was my homie. You know, the majority of my scene, we're it's either with Haley, arguing, or with Krista, kind of like feeling out this whole situation while still forming a big heart for each other. No, she was incredible. We would escape to the crafty, service table and jam out on a bunch of gummy candies and then go back in, form all these inside jokes. It was never a dull moment, but yeah, just working with her, she kind of has the same thing. She's so open, she's so herself, and she's so sweet and nice, and she's an incredible person. I loved working with her.
I think my favorite scene though is when you have finally had this cathartic connection with Haley's character, and then the next morning you guys are down there and she's like, "Can I call you later?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah."
It's
yeah,
like
you
sweetly
can.
and
And she
gently.
walks away and she turns and she goes, "That was good, right?"
Yeah, that's totally
She goes,
her.
"I totally miss her." I
That's
just
totally
loved
her.
that little moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
exactly. I mean, that's her. You see, the character, how sweet she is in this movie is how sweet she is in life.
Yeah.
She brought all of herself to it in the most beautiful way.
Mm.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.